Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, ever since being cornered in the ruling party by his own comrades, has intensified meetings with the main opposition, Nepali Congress, giving an open signal to their dissident faction. Meanwhile, Executive Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal also held a meeting with Chinese ambassador to Nepal, Hao Yanchi, yesterday at a time when the power struggle within the ruling party has reached its peak. Good morning, I am Bipashna Tamang and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Oli accuses the disgruntled group of the ruling party of spreading rumors against him. Executive Chairman Dahal meets Chinese ambassador to Nepal, Hao Yanchi, amid peak inter-party dispute. Examination postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic starts from today. More than 400,000 students taking the exam amid implementing security criteria. US President Donald Trump says a formal transition can begin for US President-elect Joe Biden to take office. And Burnley blank Crystal Palace 1-0 to secure their first win in the English Premier League this season. Southampton and Wolves settle for a 1-1 draw. Nepal's constitution requires for the government to host parliamentary sessions within 6 months of the previous session. However, the ruling party that has mired in internal dispute has no preparations to hold the winter session so far, almost 6 months since the budget session was abruptly concluded in July. Instead, the government has busied itself in introducing ordinances. The main opposition, Nepali Congress, too has failed to play its role in the national politics. We have more in this report.
The government led by the ruling Nepal Communist Party introduced an ordinance on Sunday with provisions of stricter punishment to perpetrators of rape incidents. This was the 5th ordinance that the government issued since the previous session ended on 2nd of July. Prior to Sunday's ordinance, the government had introduced ordinances related to sexual violence, medicine, acid and harmful chemicals, and federal and provincial police mechanism. While many have welcomed these ordinances, the government's indifference towards the winter session has met flack. Critics opine the government is attempting to avoid the parliamentary session overall. Critics have also called the government's decision to issue ordinances one after another while showing indifference towards the next session as illogical. This comes at a time when the government has faced widespread criticism for its mishandling of the COVID-19 crisis in the country. Meanwhile, analysts have also questioned the listless role that the main opposition Nepali Congress has been exhibiting.
Chairman of the ruling Nepal Communist Party and Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has accused the disgruntled group of chanting slogans for the change of the government at a time when the ruling party is at the verge of splitting. At a time when Chairman Oli and Pushpakamal Dahal have not held any discussions lately to resolve the ongoing disputes within the ruling party, Premier Oli reached Gunsa Taplejung yesterday and accused the members of the disgruntled faction of spreading rumors against him as they could not bear to see the stability and good performance exhibited by the government. Prime Minister Oli urged party cadres and leaders not to follow those who are trying to discredit the government by spreading negative propaganda that the government is changing. Premier Oli claimed that the dissident faction is petrified that the government would bring back the lost territories of Limpiathura, Lipu Lake and Kalapani in Darchula districts and enhance its popularity. Prime Minister Oli accused the opposition camp for backstabbing the government by spreading rumors against him. Meanwhile, China's ambassador to Nepal, Hao Yanchi, held a meeting with executive chairman of the ruling party, Nepal Communist Party Pushpakamal Dahal, at a time when the power struggle within the ruling party is at its peak. China's envoy Hao reached Dahal's residence in the capital's Kumaltar yesterday morning. According to Dahal's secretariat, the two discussed on the relations between the communist parties of two countries and the internal disputes of the ruling Nepal Communist Party. It has been understood that Ambassador Hao Yanchi also held discussions on the upcoming high-level political visit from China. China's defense minister and first-ranked state councillor Wei Fenghe is scheduled to arrive in Nepal on 29th of this month. Earlier, envoy Hou Yanchi had called on Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli last Tuesday. 1,980 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed in the country yesterday, taking the national tally to 222,288. The death toll has climbed to 1,337, with 16 more deaths reported yesterday. According to the Health Ministry, the federal capital reported 1,007 positive cases, with 779 new cases reported in Kathmandu district, 143 in Lalitpur and 85 in Bhaktapur. Likewise, 3,043 individuals registered full recovery yesterday, taking the national recovery tally to 202,067, while the recovery rate has climbed to 90.9%. There are over 18,000 active cases in the country, with 6,613 corona patients in isolation centers, 12,271 in home isolation and 629 in various quarantine centers. The Health Ministry informed that 63 patients are receiving treatment in ventilators, while 365 are in ICUs across different hospitals in the country. And we'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up. Welcome back. Indian Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla is scheduled to arrive in Nepal this Thursday on a two-day official visit. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs officially announced the visit, issuing a press statement yesterday, even as the visit was already confirmed a few weeks back. Indian Foreign Secretary Shringla is landing on Thursday upon the invitation of Foreign Secretary Bharatraj Paudel. This is his first visit to Nepal after assuming office. According to the press statement, the visit is the continuation of the regular exchange of high-level visits between Nepal and India. During his visit, Indian Foreign Secretary Shringla will hold meetings with high-ranking Nepalese officials and will discuss a wide-ranging areas of cooperation between the two neighboring countries. The ministry informed that the upcoming visit will help in boosting the bilateral relations between the two countries to the next level. The examination of grade 12, which had been postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic, has started from today. The examination started at 8 this morning by implementing the security criteria set by the government. The National Examination Board, Education Board has informed that the examination would conclude by next Tuesday by holding an exam even on Saturday. The National Education Board had decided to evaluate students based on their performances in their respective schools and colleges, and 40% of the marks will be evaluated through the written examination. More than 400,000 students are taking the examination in more than 4,100 exam centers. The NEPSA index, that rose by 146.73 points in the past 8 working days, dropped by 2.38 points yesterday to settle at 1,780.43 points. Despite the slump, transactions remained fairly high yesterday, as 46,240 transactions were made for a total of 4.762 billion rupees. Nepal Bank Limited was in the leading position in terms of transaction amount when their share market closed yesterday. Other notable transactions were from the Nepal Reinsurance Company, Himalayan Distillery and Nepal Life Insurance, with more than 200 million rupees worth of transactions. Meanwhile, the market price for the NIC Asia Balanced Fund and Citizens Mutual Fund dropped by 1%, while Goodwill Finance dropped by more than 4%. The stock market has been witnessing high turnover in recent days, with record-breaking transactions in their share market. As of recent, the Nepal Stock Exchange, Securities Board of Nepal and brokers along with investors have earned a significant income. The government had earlier recommended the Securities Board of Nepal to review the brokers' commission. However, the board has yet to pay heed. Nepal has the second highest commission rate in all of South Asia. We have more in this report.
The Nepalese stock market traded over 6.9 billion rupees on Sunday, the highest transaction ever recorded in the country. With the increase in the turnover, The incomes of the brokers, Nepal Stock Exchange and Securities Board of Nepal have also increased. Broker companies charge commission between 0.4 to 0.6% of the transaction amount from buying and selling shares. Based on Sunday's transactions, investors paid 48.8 million rupees to the brokers alone, even by considering the minimum commission. Meanwhile, Nepal Stock Exchange alone earned 9.7 million rupees and Securities Board of Nepal earned 2 million rupees as commission. According to a study conducted by the Securities Board of Nepal itself, Nepal's brokerage fee has proved to be the second most expensive in the South Asian region. The board had formed a committee to re-evaluate the brokerage fee last year. The committee took a year to submit its report. However, the Securities Board of Nepal is reluctant in implementing the recommendations. Broker commission in India is between 0 to 0.5%, while in some cases, brokers cannot even charge commission. However, in Nepal, there is no excuse to charge broker commission below 0.4%. The average commission in China is 0.031%. At present, the Nepal Stock Exchange receives 20% of the commission taken by the brokers. Even Securities Board of Nepal has taken dual commission. On top of that, there is high brokerage fee. Investors have been hit by the rise in broker commission in the stock market. Experts have opined that the commission charged by the regulatory board and brokers should be reduced, while investors also need to know the commission rate charged by the lethargic regulatory board.
In our Public Voice segment, we had asked their recovered COVID-19 patients in Panchthar what problems did they face while staying in home isolation. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
पाउँछ भने या किन्न सक्नेले त चाहिँ त्यो अक्सिमिटरहरु राखेर अक्सिजन लेभलहरु पनि नाप्ला तर त्यही पनि नाप्न नपाइने त्यस्ता हेल्थसँग रिलेटेड मेडिकल मेकानिजमको विषयमा चाहिँ अलि ज्ञानको के भन्छ अलि अभाव
पूर्व तयारीको रूपमा विशेष गरी सबै घरमा टोयलेट बाथरुम छुट्टै भयो र एउटा बस्ने कोठा भइदियो भने पारिवारिक वातावरणमा बसेर हामीले कोरोनालाई जित्न सक्छौं भन्ने मेरो अनुभूति छ।
घर भित्रै बस्नु पर्दा त गाह्रो भयो नि एकदम झन् कहाँ जानु के गर्नु कसो गर्नु।
होम आइसोलेसनमा बस्दा त्यस्तो समस्याहरु त केही पनि भएन हैन। उही अब जति भित्र बस्दाखेरि अब यो मात्रै हो अब त्यस्तो खासै समस्याहरु त के भएर केही भएन अलिअलि त्यो जिउको बिरामहरु हो खासै त्यस्तो केही असरहरु त भएन अप्ठ्यारो भएन।
पर बसेपछि मानसिकतामा मान्छेले आफूलाई घरभन्दा अलग सोच्ने एउटा त्यो खालको समस्या हुन सक्छ तर हिजो आज प्रविधि भएकोले मान्छेले भिडियो कलहरु गरेर पनि संचार उपयोग गरेर पनि त्यस्तो फरक पर्छ जस्तो चाहिँ लाग्दैन।
फोन पनि गरेन मैले चाहिँ आफै स्वास्थ्य कर्मीको नाताले डाक्टरहरुलाई म आफै फोन गरे मलाई यस्तो भयो यस्तो डाक्टर साहब म के गर्नुपर्छ के खानुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि उहाँले औषधि बताइदिनु भयो।
अत्यन्तै कठिन रहेछ यसमा विवेक पुर्याइएन भने चाहिँ डेन्जर हो के धेरै साथीहरुले अब के हैन भनेर बाहिर बजारमा प्रोपागन्डा मचाएको पाइन्छ तर जसलाई भयो नि अत्यन्तै डेन्जर हो के।
And time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question: why has the government indulged in ordinances instead of starting the parliamentary session? Your options: option A, dodging the session; option B, weak opposition; and option C, ill intentions. The voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And time now for our special segment, Sports Buzz.
The Nepal Premier League has sought into controversy after an agreement was signed to lease the hosting of the event to an Indian company. After Cricket Association of Nepal signed the initial agreement with the Indian company and presented the contract at last week's general meeting, many CAN members criticized the move. The International Cricket Council has brought the concept of organizing Premier League so that its member nations can reap financial benefit. CAN has now leased the entire lucrative event to the Indian company 7-3 Brothers, according to which CAN will receive 400 million rupees for a period of 10 years. There is a huge craze for cricket in Nepal and it is not difficult to search for sponsors. CAN's main target is to develop cricket in the country and gather money for it by organizing a Premier League. However, the stakeholders say that CAN officials are of the mentality of earning money without putting in any efforts. However, CAN says the agreement made with the Indian company is not final. Can says the contract was presented at the general meeting so that discussions could be held, and if the agreement with the Indian company does not suit the interest of Nepalese cricket, it can be scrapped altogether. Nepal recently played a two-match international friendly against Bangladesh, which was Nepal's first match in 8 months due to the ongoing pandemic. Nepal put up a dismal performance in the two matches played at Bangabandhu Stadium in Dhaka, losing the series 1-0. Nepal lost the first match 2-0 while managing to chalk out a goalless draw in the second match. The series once again highlighted the lack of ability of our booters to thrive on the goal-scoring opportunity. Nepalese football has now witnessed a goal drought as their last goal had come on 10th of September 2019 when Anjan Bista had scored 2 goals against Chinese Taipei during the qualifiers for the World Cup and the Asian Cup. Nepal's spin sensation Sandeep Lamichhane has been contracted by Hobart Hurricanes in this season's Big Bash League. Hobart Hurricanes, a popular team from the Big Bash League, informed that it had contracted Lamichhane without revealing the contract amount. This is going to be Sandeep's 3rd consecutive Big Bash League, as he had played for Melbourne Stars in the previous 2 editions and had claimed 26 wickets in 20 matches he had featured. Sandeep Lamichhane has expressed his happiness for the opportunity to play for Hobart, while the team coach Adam Griffith has hailed Sandeep as a bowler with lot of promise and potential. This is Amar Singh Pradhan for our special segment Sports Buzz and for Kantipur News Desk.
And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.